Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to try something a little bit different. So I've been asked to take part in a collaboration like with a cake group and lots of other sort of cake artists called Sweethearts of the World. Now for this we each had to make something edible to wear. I haven't started mine and the deadline's a few days away. And I've been trying to think of what I could wear, because I think everybody's going to go for great big fancy things to wear, like in the hair or necklaces and the edible. And I wanted to do something maybe ice cream themed, but obviously not out of ice cream. But then I thought, well, I don't really wear much on my head anyway. So what can I do that kind of would be something that I might wear, but obviously not in food? And I was thinking the only thing I ever wear is caps. I sometimes wear caps, usually only when it's sunny. And generally I tend to buy them when I go to Disneyland or Disney World. I forget which is which. And I kind of miss going there because I've not been on holiday for a while. But then kind of like the theme of my bag that I have. So this is my bag. I save it for special occasions so that I don't ruin it. And what else do I tend to wear? I haven't even worn these yet. Look, I bought them and we weren't able to go anywhere for me to wear them. I don't tend to just wear them around the house. So these are going to be saved for when I next go on holiday. My hair's everywhere. So I'm thinking, guys, maybe something that's a cross between all these things. Now, what to make it out of? I'm presuming cake's not going to go too well on my head. To be honest, no one's going to want to eat anything that's been on my head. But let's try ginger biscuit. I've never done anything like this before. It could end up a disaster. So guys, I think I'm probably not going to do the see-through mesh bit. Mine's going to have to be all solid. And I found some paper templates, which I think I'll just maybe do in card. And I found these on YouTube. DIY designer, so a big thank you to DIY designer. I am going to have a go with your templates. Now, does it fit on my head? So, fits on my head, but it has to stretch to get there, which might be a problem when it's made in cookie dough. Now, I don't want it to flatten when it's in the oven, so I'm going to put a dome tin underneath it. We're going to put it on a baking tray. Then I think we're going to have to cover the whole thing in some greaseproof paper so that my cookie dough doesn't stick to the hat itself. I'm not convinced it's going to work.
It's silly cake.
It's a cake, yeah?
It's silly cake.
So I covered it in greaseproof paper, but we'll see. Okay, rolled it out. We'll use the templates to cut it out, and I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. So the templates were a bit of a fail with the gingerbread. Thought I'd try it in one go. Oh, it's another fail. Attempt number 3. Okay, so it's not very neat. And I should have gone bigger than my template sizes. So I think I'm going to put it in the fridge for a bit and see what happens. So I had to patch some pieces in. We're going to put it in the oven and hope it comes out. So I've got cracking on the first attempt, slumped a lot. So I've been trying to cut bits off. I don't think so. It looks like I've made a chicken.
On that photo.
So I also cut out some circle discs, guys. I realised I didn't show you me doing them earlier. They're going to sit on the side of the hat. So now let's try decorate it. So sticking on the ears, I've tried to get the royal icing as thick as I can. A little bit underneath, so that probably would have been easier for me to put it in a piping bag. We'll see. Maybe about here. Now I need something that's the right height to put under there to hold it up. So we'll let them set. I might even put a thin layer of royal icing over the whole hat to keep it firm so it doesn't fall apart, and also just smooth it off. It would be better actually if I just didn't do that, but I've covered so much of it with I might as well continue. Yeah, so I pretty much covered the whole thing in royal icing, but I've let those ears set and I'm gonna do a layer of teddy bear brown fondant. So I am gonna cover it in fondant. Like I say, for this collab, we had to make something that was wearable, that was edible. I'm not convinced anybody's gonna want to eat this. I'm probably gonna put quite a lot of icing on it. Also, it will have sat on my head, so no one wants to eat that. So I've got the teddy bear brown and the white mixed. We're gonna roll a long strip. I think I'm gonna put it on in layers rather than covering the whole thing. And I've got this texture mat. So this was like a PME square texture mat. I'll try and put links below the video, guys, so you can see what I used for it. And we're just pressing it in along the length. I apologise, the dog is snoring in the background, guys. I don't know if you can hear it or not. So to stick it now on my hat, I'm just using some piping gel. I didn't want to use water because I thought water might cause my royal icing to dissolve again and everything will get a bit wet. So let's put it around the hat. Now, if it doesn't go on in one big piece, it's fine. The cap would kind of have panels of fabric anyway, so I can cut it anywhere that there would be a join in the cap. So I've done the front pieces, then the side, and then I'll do the back. So I don't want to press on too hard at any point when I'm doing this. I am trying to put the fondant on fairly thin so it's not too thick and heavy. And ginger biscuits do last a long time, so it gives me plenty of time to work with it and decorate it. So I'm not in too much of a rush with this one. Apart from getting it ready for the deadline, I was in a bit of a rush for that actually. So I've got a slightly bigger piece of the same colour fondant now, guys. Same patterning that I'm putting on there, and it's going to go on the peak of the cap. Is it called the peak of the cap? You guys can tell me in the comments below if I'm calling the different cap pieces by the wrong name. I'm just using a little tool to kind of push it in together because I don't want there to be a gap. I am really sorry about my dog snoring in the background. I can hear it really loud. I don't know if you guys can. So I'm pushing it kind of just around the edges of the cap, but I'm not putting it underneath because I don't want there to be too much weight on that cap bit. Otherwise, I'm a bit worried that it might snap off whilst I'm wearing it. So I do have to wear this for a photo for the collaboration that we're doing. And guys, what I'll do is I'll put links below the video to the collaboration so you can check it out yourself. So anywhere where there would be a seam on the cap, I've just run my stitching wheel up. So I've got like a cap near me so I can have a look at where all the different seams and things go. I like the stitching lines on it. I think they look good. Pop one all the way around the bottom edge as well. And then let's put the stitching lines that go on the peak. I'm not very good at spacing them out, guys, so it's pretty uneven. I thought it would be easier than it was, that bit. Okay, so next layer, we're going for kind of ice cream themed, a bit like my bag that I was showing you before. Let's go for mint choc chip. So I've got like a Tiffany colour fondant that I'm mixing with white. I haven't mixed it together very well. I don't mind if it's a bit marbled looking. I've got this quite a bit thicker than the last layer. To be honest, this is probably a bit too thick, especially if you're going to eat it. And I'm just texturizing it a little bit so it's not too smooth. I've actually got a toothbrush here. It isn't one that I've ever used, guys. It's one that I've bought purely for texturizing stuff. You can use lots of different things for texturizing the fondant with though. So I'm putting it on again in pieces. So this piece is going on at the front and I just need it to be far enough down that covers the edge of the first piece that I put. The kind of beigey colour piece. Is it beige? Ice cream cone colour bit. It's gone over the top of that anyway. And then I'm just putting in some more stitching lines so they look like they continue from the first lot that I put on there. And for the chocolate chips, I was going to make them in fondant, but do you know what? I have some chocolate chips for baking with, and they're here and they're open. So do you know what? It just saved me a bit of time to just use actual chocolate chips. So let's push them in there. So I'm digging holes in some parts just to push them in. I'm not going all the way to the very top of the cap because we're going to have another layer of fondant on there, I think, at some point. So for my next layer of fondant, I'm just going to use some of this neon colour, which is quite a bright pink. I'll put links to it below the video, guys, as well. I'm mixing it into some white, but I don't want to mix it in too much. Again, I want it to be quite marbled because we're aiming now for like a raspberry ripple kind of effect. And then we're going to roll that out. And that's just going to go on the very top bit of our cap. Oh, I also forgot to tell you guys, sorry I didn't show it. I put the green on the back of the cap as well as the front. So let's put this next layer on here. Press it down. And of course, if you put it on and it's too big, it's too long, you can cut bits off. I was aiming for uneven edges around the bottom. You can see the marbling a bit, I think, on the raspberry ripple one. This is kind of the theme I'm going for with my new shop entrance as well, guys. I'll show you pictures when I've got it all done. So we're texturizing it the same as before, and then we're putting in those little stitching lines. You can see my cap's a bit of a funny shape at the back. That's where the gingerbread kind of slumped a bit in the oven. Now, if the deadline for this wasn't so close to when I was making it, I would have probably had another go at remaking the gingerbread cap to make it a little bit neater. So let's decorate it with sprinkles. Most of these are chocolate filled ones that I've got here. So if you are planning on making one of these to eat, then all these decorations like actually taste quite nice. You maybe want to have slightly less fondant on it than what I have done now. And you can even make little miniature versions as well, which I think would have been ideal. I think that would have actually been nicer, but they wouldn't have fit on my head. So we had to go full life-size cap for this one. So stick in your sprinkles. I just stick them on with a bit of water, and then we're just going to add another bit. This time I've got the brown fondant. I think this one actually might even be the chocolate flavoured fondant that I used. I'm going to put links below. And that's just going to sit on the top. Now, guys, and I forgot to show you again. I keep forgetting to show you bits. I covered the biscuits on the ears, or the cookies for the ears, also in this brown fondant. And then this little bit's just going to go on the top. Well, you can see it's shiny. That's just the water that I've managed to get over the edge. And then I've got some of the leftover colour that we use for like the waffle effect, and I'm cutting it into little squares because I thought it would look like little cubes of fudge, and then they can stick in the brown bit. And we'll put that little top bit on of the cap. I'm going to call it a button. I don't know what it's called, guys. Maybe you want to add some drips of chocolate so it looks like it's melted and dripping down a bit more. I'm just going to add just the one. Fudge pieces going on. Maybe some on the ears. And the cherry you can see just in the background at the side is actually pulled off one of my other display cakes, so I do have that in a video. So the cherries that I made, I'm not going to show you how to do them now, but they are in the other video. If you click on the link in the corner of the screen, that will actually take you to a pancake video that I did, like a cake pancake one, and I show you in that how to make those cherries. Okay, so let's make like a piece of cream, what's supposed to look like icing or cream. And we're just twisting some pieces together, rolling them up, and then that cherry is just going to sit on there. I'm not going to eat the cherry because it has been on a display piece of mine for quite some time. And the little figure in the background, again, is something I've made in one of my basic figure classes, so I might put her on the cap, I'm not sure yet. Now let's just give it a bit more colour, a bit more depth. So I'm using these edible powders. I know it looks like a makeup palette, guys, but this is an edible powder. The petal palettes. Again, I'll put links below the video, guys, so you can see exactly which palettes I've used. But that gives it a bit more depth to put it around the edge of that waffle effect like that. And then I've used a white edible pen, my Fractal pen, to just draw a little bit of a line just around the edge of those drips, so it looks a bit like a tiny bit of reflection. Now, guys, this hat, by the time I'd finished, was quite thick, so when I put it on my head, not only was it really heavy, like really heavy, it really dug into my forehead. It didn't really fit on my head like I was planning on it fitting. And also it was so thick that it looked more like a horse riding helmet, I think, than an actual baseball cap. But there we go. I would really like to do some more things in gingerbread, but I think I need a bit more practice. Let me know what you guys think. Do you want to see me do more gingerbread creations? Don't forget to check out everybody else's work in the collaboration. Some much better pieces than what I have done, guys. Thank you for watching the video. Bye. If you liked the video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button and leave me a comment below. You can see more of my tutorials by clicking on the images on screen now. If you haven't already, make sure you click the subscribe button to stay up to date with my future tutorials. There are also links in the description box below where you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and more.